Hello everyone. Today inshallah we'll study basic English grammar, present perfect tense. First we'll start how to form the present perfect in affirmative. I start the sentence with subject plus verb have in a present simple form. Verb have in a present simple form means have or has plus the past participle of the main verb. So the present perfect is made up of a subject followed by the auxiliary verb have followed by the past participle of the main verb. For example, I have walked, you have walked, he, she, it has walked, we have walked, you have walked, they have walked. So I use verb have with the subject pronouns I, we, you, they. And I use has with a subject pronouns he, she, and it. Let's move to the spelling rules for the past participle form. In irregular verbs, add ed to the base form. For example, wash, it will be washed. Earn will be earned. So in irregular verbs, I only add ed. If the regular verb is ending in a silent e, I add only the letter d to the base form. For example, change, changed. Lie, lied. So if the verb ending in a silent e, only I add the letter d to make a past participle form of the verb. In irregular verbs ending in a vowel and the letter y, for example, play, what I do here, I add ed to the base form of the verb. So if the verb ending in the letter y and before letter y the vowel letter. So if the verb ending in a vowel letter plus the letter y, I add ed. Play, played. Stay, stayed. And if the regular verbs ending in a consonant plus the letter y, I change the letter y to I and add ed. For example, marry, this is a consonant letter R plus the letter y, so I change the letter y to I when I add ed. So it will be marry, married. The regular verbs with one syllable ending in a consonant plus vowel plus consonant letter, I double the final consonant and add ed. For example, fit, this is a one syllable verb ending in a consonant plus vowel plus consonant. So when I add ed, I double the consonant letter. I double the final consonant letter. So it will be fit. Stop, stopped. So I double the letter T. In irregular verbs with more than one syllable that ends in a consonant plus vowel plus consonant, I double the final consonant only if the final syllable is stressed and add ed. So I look here, if the final syllable is stressed, I double the consonant. I double the final consonant. For example, prefer. So when I add ed, I double the letter R. It will be preferred. Regret, regret. And if the final syllable isn't stressed, I only add the letter ed. For example, transfer, transferred, without double the final consonant. Verbs ending in L. If the verb is ending in a letter L, in a British English rules, I always double the L and add ed. For example, travel, traveled, cancel, canceled. And verbs ending in the letter L in American English rules, I double only the final consonant if only the final syllable is stressed and add ed. And if the final syllable isn't stressed, I add only ed, like travel, traveled, cancel, canceled. Let's move to a negative present perfect form. How I form a negative present perfect? The subject plus have plus not plus the past participle. So to make a negative form of the present perfect, I only add not to the auxiliary verb have. For example, I have not worked. You have not worked. He, she, it has not worked. We have not worked. You have not worked. They have not worked. So I only add not to auxiliary verb have. Let's move to contracted negative present perfect form, or a short form of the negative in a present perfect. Method 1, I haven't worked. So here I put apostrophe and delete the letter O. So this is one way to short form of the present perfect. You haven't worked. He, she, it hasn't worked. We haven't worked. You haven't worked. They haven't worked. And let's move to the second method. Here I use apostrophe. I have not worked. Apostrophe VE. You have not worked. He has, she has, it has not worked. You have not worked. You have not worked. They have not worked. Both methods are correct, but the first method is better than the second method. Let's move to a question form of the present perfect. Have you worked? So I start the sentence with a verb have plus subject plus the past participle, and don't forget to add question mark at the end of the sentence. For example, have I worked? Have you worked? Has he, she, it worked? Have we worked? Have you worked? Have they worked? So, to form the present perfect question, I start sentence with verb to have in a present simple, have or has, plus subject plus the past participle, and don't forget to put the question mark. Now we will talk about correct position of adverbs with the present perfect. Adverbs always, only, never, ever, still, just, already. These are some adverbs used in a present perfect tense. The correct position of these adverbs in affirmative sentence is after auxiliary verb have and before the main verb. So the correct position for these adverbs is in between verb to have and the main verb of the sentence. For example, we have just arrived in London. I have only cleaned the bathroom. So look here, I use the adverb between have and the main verb of the sentence. For a question, we place adverb after the subject and before the main verb. So in affirmative, I put the adverb after verb to have and before the main verb. In a question, I put the adverb after the subject and before the main verb. For example, have you ever visited New York? Look here, I use the adverb after the subject and before the main verb of the sentence. Another example, has he already left the office? And now we will start talking about use and meaning of the present perfect. What is the present perfect? To explain the meaning, let's look at an example. Mark, why is Sarah not playing tennis? David, she has broken her leg. The present perfect describes an event in the past. Sarah breaks her leg to explain the situation in the present. Sarah isn't playing tennis. So the present perfect describe an event in the past. Sarah breaks her leg. Why? To explain the situation in the present. Sarah isn't playing tennis. So the first use of the present perfect to describe an event in the past. David doesn't need to say exactly when Sarah broke her leg. It's not important. So in a present perfect, it's not important to indicate the time in the past. We use the present perfect to describe an action that happens at some moment in the past, but it's not important to know exactly when it happened. The past action has an effect on the present. So I use the present perfect to describe an event or an action in the past, and it's not important to know exactly when the action happened. Also, we use the present perfect for something that started in the past and continues in the present. They have been married for nearly 50 years. She has lived in Liverpool all her life. So the action or the event started in the past and continues till now. Another use of the present perfect is unspecified time before now. We can use the present perfect with indefinite time adverbs. For example, ever, never, once, before, so far, already, yet. For example, have you ever seen an elephant? I have met him before. I have never been to New York. Also, I can use the present perfect in unspecified time experience. We can use the present perfect to describe a new experience we have gained at unspecified time in the past. For example, how does he know how to use this software? He has studied computing. So I use the present perfect also to describe a new experience in the past. Yes, I have been to London. I have learned to play the piano. Also, I can use the present perfect tense in a progressive change over time. We use the present perfect to describe a progressive change that has evolved over a period of time. For examples, your English has improved. This is a progressive change. Video games have become very popular with young people. Let's see present perfect or past simple. What is the difference between present perfect and the past simple? The differences between the present perfects and the past simple. First, the present perfect, unfinished actions that started in the past and continue to the present. So the first thing that the present perfect talked about unfinished actions that started in the past and still till now. For example, I have worked at IPM for 3 years. I still work there till now. So I started in the past and still till now. Number two, a finished action at an unspecified time with a connection to the present. Please call an ambulance. I have broken my leg. We use the unfinished time expression this week, this month, in the last week. So this is a present perfect. What about past simple? Past simple, I use the past simple to, to talk about finished actions. I worked at IPM for 3 years. I no longer work there. So in a present perfect, it's unfinished action. So I worked there in the past and still till now. But in the past simple, this is a finished actions. I worked there in the past only. Number two, a finished action at a specific time without a connection to the present. I broke my leg yesterday. It was terrible. So in the present perfect, it's not important to say exactly time, but in the past simple, it's important or I know when the action happened. We use finished time expressions yesterday, last month, 2 weeks ago. These are the time markers of the past simple tense. We don't use the present perfect with a finished time expression. So I can't say, I have broken my leg yesterday. I can't say this because in a present perfect, I don't know the exactly time. So I don't use the time expression with present perfect. Thank you with my best wishes. See you again, inshallah.